Behemoth Bash. Please knock out this. Please knock out. YouTube, today we're trying out a brand new team, and this team was created by two-time national champion Hirofumi with a really interesting build of Zamazenta, Zygarde with Ludicolo. Yeah, this team looks pretty well, and I haven't seen a Ludicolo in forever. I mean, theoretically, you could do well with Ludicolo against a rain format. It helps with like Kyogre. It takes the water spouts really well, but then you got like Airstream users everywhere basically, and it just makes it super hard to run Ludicolo in this format. So I'm interested to see if Ludicolo can do well, because this is like the first time I've used Ludicolo, I think, in this format in general. Definitely seems interesting with Zamazenta and Zygarde, which of course with coaching does look like a really cool support. But yeah, if you do want to check out the details of the team and Hirofumi, down below in the description you could go check them out. But if you do enjoy the videos, be sure to leave a like down below, leave a comment down below. It really does help me out. But let's get started and play some games. Calyx, Shadow Rider, Zacian, Grimmsnarl, Zapdos, Incineroar, and Glastrier. I wouldn't be surprised if this is some sort of speed swap or Trick Room on the Calyx Shadow Rider. It does get quite a few speed options here. This is something. I don't know what I exactly want to go against this team. Let's find out. I do like Zamazenta quite a bit. Zygarde could put in work, and I think they do need to bring the Glastrier. Otherwise, like, the damage output against Zygarde is like only Zacian, but then again, it could be Wisp on the Calyx as well. I could see it being like Solo Astral Barrage. We've seen it before. This is gonna be an interesting one. I don't really like Fairforn too much. It just, I guess, but Gyro Ball does nothing to Glastrier, unfortunately, and this Zapdos is just pretty hard to handle. Zamazenta lead is 100 something I want to bring here. I think Zamazenta plus Incineroar is not a bad lead here. I'm trying to see what punishes that, and not really anything I think hard punishes it. So I like Zamazenta and Incineroar. And then I think in the back, yeah, I want to say it's Zygarde Thundurus. I want to say Ludicolo just doesn't do that well here, I think, other than dealing with the Incineroar. Yeah, I think it's just these four. Fairforn's only good against maybe, I mean, it's not even that good against Calyx. It's only good against, and Zacian does run Sacred Sword or Close Combat. So it's just difficult for me to say. I don't know if this is a speed swap team or not. We'll find out, because this is a difficult, I think, just to figure out what they're going to bring. I think Zapdos is going to be brought here, both restricted, and they do lead the Zapdos and Calyx Shadow Rider. Okay, this is a pretty good lead for me because Zamazenta with Snarl and Parting Shot from the Incineroar can just threaten a lot here. I don't think they're going to swap out the, I don't think they're staying in with the Calyx. They're either protecting or swapping out. I imagine they swap out into Zacian here. I just don't know if the Zapdos is going to go for anything specific here. I do want to Snarl off into Zapdos really badly, and that's what I'm going to go for. It's just, do I want to Parting Shot the Zapdos, or do I want to Parting Shot the Calyx? Both are pretty good here. I think I'm going to Snarl the for sure here. And I think Parting Shot out the Calyx is the right play, because if it is the Zacian coming in, I do really want a Parting Shot off into it, and I don't think that Calyx should really stay in here, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it goes for the Wisp here, and I mean, if they go for a Wisp, I mean, I break a potential Sash. The Calyx is at -2 special attack. It wouldn't do much next turn, I guess. So I guess I'll take the trade here. If they protect, I don't see it. Yeah, they do swap out, I'd imagine here. Gonna be the Incineroar from their side. Okay, that works too. I get Intimidate off into their, or not Intimidate, but Parting Shot, basically an attack drop into their Incineroar, and I'm able to get Snarl off into Zapdos. Let's find out if it's a Max or a Protect here. Okay, no, none of that. Snarl going to come out into the Zapdos. Okay, really good turn here. This is a easy, okay, so we confirmed Incineroar, Zapdos, Calyx. Looking really good for our late game, potentially. Thunderbolt to chip the Incineroar, because Incineroar is just a pain for them, because it just switches into everything. Parting Shot going to come out into their Incineroar. Zygarde comes in and gets to click a substitute right here, I'm pretty sure. So I would like to go, or just draw off 1,000 arrows, I guess. I do want to go out in a Zygarde here. And I guess Zapdos is more likely to incline to switch out, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure the Zacian is coming in for their side. So you know what? Let's go for a coaching into a 1,000 arrows. Because I imagine this is swap Zapdos out into Zacian and fake out the Zygarde. And if that's the case, I either get 3,000, or they could fake out my Zamazenta, I guess. But a free 1,000 arrows or free coaching would be really ideal in this situation where the Zapdos is at -1 special attack and it's just not doing that much damage to my team. And just, yeah, like if they bring in the Calyx, I can wide guard. They do swap out here. This should be Zacian. Yep. Okay. I do understand that. Excellent. Come on, coaching, or 1,000 arrows. Either one is really good for me. Oh, they went for parting shot. That's even better for me because I get a plus 1,000 arrows into both Pokemon, which is fantastic right here. 1,000 arrows is going to be fired off against the Incineroar and the Zacian. Look at that damage. That is beautiful damage that we love to see. The berry does activate on the Incineroar. So this is citrus or figgy? Citrus. Okay. Nice. Parting shot going to come out into the Zygarde, I imagine. Yep. Okay, so I'm back at neutral. But I got a really good turn off that. That's a huge amount of damage into their Incineroar and their Zacian. I don't think it's in range of Behemoth Blade, unfortunately, because of the Intimidates from the Incineroar. However, pretty good turn. I'm able to get a +1 defense on my Zygarde intact. We're going to see the Calyx come in. Okay. Ooh, now I have a few options here. What do I want to go for? Probably a Snarl here. I would like a Snarl and an Incineroar swap, I think. Yeah, I would like that a lot. I think I'm going to go for that Snarl here. And I'm going to swap out into my Incineroar. Because if they take a sword, I think that's fine. I could see this being a double up into Zamazenta. Or I could swap out for the other way, but I'm kind of curious on if they decide to max Alex, go for a max Phantasm and the play rough, KO my Zygarde. I think that'd be a terrible situation for me. I think I'd rather just go hard Incineroar here for the Intimidate and Snarl here. Let's find out if I'm right. They do say I'm a both Pokemon, it looks like, because they are in a pretty good offensive position. I do bring out the Incineroar once again for an Intimidate into their Zacian, which is really important. Let's find out. Dynamax? No Dynamax, just a Wisp into what was the Zygarde. Okay, that works too. I wasn't sure if they were a Wisp. I'm faster than their Zacian, which is interesting. So I get a Snarl off, which is really big into their Calyx. Okay. And the Zacian gonna go for a Sacred Sword into my Zamazenta, which makes sense. Okay. That's a pretty good turn for me still. Yeah, I really like that as a turn here. Because now I have quite a few options. I could go for the parting shot once again, and I kind of like that. I could go for Snarl. I do want to keep Zamazenta around because I think it's really important to preserve. I think just going hard Thunderous is actually the right play. Yeah, I think it's hard Thunderous and parting shot here into their Calyrex, because I think this is probably Incineroar coming back in. It could be Zapdos, which I think is fair too, but I think Incineroar makes more sense. Yep. Because you don't want to switch in Zapdos on the Snarl. It's an awkward position. So yeah, the Incineroar does make sense here. I'm going to hard swap to Zamazenta. I'm going to go out into my Thunderous on the Sacred Sword. It could be Sacred Sword in either slot, but this could also be Protect as well. We're going to see Protect. Excellent. I'm just catching their passive plays, and it just works out huge for me. I didn't get the Defiant boost from the Intimidate, which is a little bit unfortunate because of Calyx switching out first. However, this is another position where I can get in my Zygarde pretty safely right here. And yeah, Zygarde does look pretty safe here. I wouldn't want to risk my Zamazenta when I could still use it, I think, in the late game. So we bring out our Zygarde. And how much? What's their Zamazenta at? Neutral. I think I would just want to wall charge their Zacian slot, do as much damage as I can to that slot, and probably just protect here. They're not parting shotting my... They're definitely not parting shotting my Thunderous. This is definitely an attack into... I don't know what they could really do with the Zacian. It can attack with Behemoth Blade or Play Rough. That's fine. They could swap out. I'm just putting them in a really awkward spot. I don't know what move they're going to choose with the Zacian because I feel like all of them are kind of mediocre options. They could Behemoth Blade my Thunderous, which I think is okay. They could try to Sacred Sword trying to read me to go instant, which I think is fair. I don't think they're faking out the Thunderous of any option. I think it would always be Zygarde here. Yep. It's hard to Zygarde. Is this Play Rough as a last-ditch effort? They Behemoth Blade. Okay. I was thinking about... Because, like, I feel like I could max my Zygarde for the win. And I feel like that's most likely what's going to happen here. Because I think max Zygarde does just win at this point. We are able to get a wild charge off into their Zacian. Does that miss a knockout? It did miss a knockout. Yeah. Okay. That's actually better for me because I get Incineroar back in very safely and I can just go for 1,000 arrows. Yeah, and they don't have a swap to 1,000 arrows. Everything on their team doesn't exactly appreciate this. And I'm at neutral attack. So yeah, I could potentially pick up the knockout into Zacian. If it protects this turn to preserve itself, I do have fake out coming in. Yeah. This seems like a really difficult spot. And yeah, that's what I really like about Zygarde. 1,000 arrows just really threatening. It's why I wanted to go for that 1,000 arrows instead of setting up like a coil or sub, because we would be playing a passive game for a long point, I feel, if I did that, because I would have had all this beautiful damage that I've had on my opponent's Pokemon right here. But now I just threaten a lot of offense without even setup. I can just keep firing off 1,000 arrows, and it's pretty safe for the most part. Incineroar are going to come in for another Intimidate. Even if they read this, go for a Sacred Sword. It doesn't really matter here. Just don't crit my Zygarde, please. They do play rough here. Okay, they target the Incineroar. Perfect. So they tried to cover the Incineroar swap, but this is 1,000 arrows coming out into their side, and it does pick up the knockout into both right here. And I guess the question is, now what? Because it's not exactly guaranteed win here. Because even though I got like a 4-2 advantage, it looks really good. Now they're in a actually decent spot where they can bring in the Calyx plus the Zapdos here and threaten my Zygarde. So I have a few plays that I can make here, and I think the best option is just to max Darkness to Calyx slot and Dynamax my... Is it Dynamax this? I mean, I know it's not Life Orb Zapdos. I think it is. I'm like pretty sure I max Darkness to Calyx slot, because I think they're forced to Wisp and Airstream my Incineroar slot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sack Thundurus, because Thundurus is not necessary at all in order to win this game. I guess like yeah. Oh, yeah, I don't need Thundurus to win this game at all. I would like to Dynamax the Incineroar because I'll live the Airstream from the Zapdos, because it wasn't Life Orb. We confirmed that earlier. I think you're forced to Wisp here. I don't think you're going to force Astral Barrage. I think you need to Wisp, because if you don't get a Wisp off, I think in a Zygarde, I just feel like if I decide to max the Zygarde and KO the Calyx, I think you just lose, because you can't break through Zygarde, and I can always just 1,000 arrows for a win con. Also, I just realized with 1,000 arrows grounding the Zapdos, if this is one of the Roost Zapdos, I ground it, right? So it can't heal. That's actually kind of nice. But yeah, well, with Dynamax or Incineroar, I'm pretty sure this is the right play. Like, I'm pretty confident. I think we'll live even in Astral Barrage Airstream, but let's find out. Okay, they went for Astral Barrage. They KO my Thundurus because they crit. Okay, that's fine. Just don't crit my Incineroar, please. I'm like pretty confident we live in Airstream with this range, since it's not Life Orb. If it was Life Orb Zapdos, then I'd say we probably don't, but yeah. Okay, yeah. Ooh. Dynamax Incineroar was the right play. Ooh, that's good. I could have protected, but I don't want Zygarde burn, because I think Zygarde is the win con. Max Darkness does come out into the Calyx, picks up the knockout, and then we go out into our Zamazenta. Yeah, I don't think there's like a guaranteed win con. As I said, this is like still pretty threatening as a position. But yeah, it looks like maxing the Incineroar covered except a crit into Incineroar, which I did have to dodge. But the thing is, I don't think I could afford Zygarde burn, because I think Zygarde burn is a condition for me to lose, especially. And yeah, it would have been really annoying, I think, because then I had to deal with like Hurricane Confusion, stuff like that as well. I think it was pretty rough. But yeah, now I can go out into Zamazenta right here. I think Strike here into Zapdos. I don't need to Sun Up. The Sun doesn't do anything. The special defense boosts don't even change anything. So I might as well max Strike, I suppose. Oh, they're going to Airstream regardless, right? So even there's nothing that accomplishes anything. I might as well just go for Darkness, I suppose. I will go for the Snarl here. They're probably just going to target down the Zamazenta. They go for Flare. Okay. Ooh, I could have actually just went for a Max Flare myself and get the power off the Sun, but at the end of the day, I don't see how to break. A crit onto Zygarde doesn't pick up a knockout. I think I just protect anyway, because since they set up the Sun, now their Hurricanes are less accurate, so it's even a lower chance to win, but they can still win with Zapdos, which is always the scary part, of course. The Max Darkness into the Zapdos. Here comes the Zygarde. And Zygarde hopefully clean up. I'm pretty sure it does, but you just never know. You just never know. I'm gonna go for maybe I just attack here. Maybe protect is a throw, because I don't think crit is gonna knock out Zygarde. Yeah, because the Zapdos is in Life Orb. So you know what? I'm just gonna 1,000 arrows. If this is Airstream, that's fine. I guess I could have subbed. Yeah, I don't want to sub here, because if they do Airstream crit, I fail to sub. I'm pretty sure that like since they can't double target here, I guess I can heat wave the next turn though, because my Incineroar is low. 1,000 arrows into max flare might KO the Zapdos at this range, because we've done a decent amount with the darkness. Question comes out. Yeah, this should be in the Zygarde. Oh, they target the Incineroar. Okay, I think they expected to protect. Nice. I just gotta make sure I don't get PowerPoint stalled by the Zapdos. Well, actually, no. I just realized Roost doesn't fail, right? If the Pokemon's grounded, can it Roost still? I completely forgot because I haven't ran into a gravity Roost situation before. Or something like this. 1,000 arrows is super effective now. I actually don't know. This is an interesting mechanic, but I don't know if it has it. We haven't seen Protect. We saw a Heat Wave, Electric Move, Hurricane. I don't think we saw Protect. I could be wrong, but I'm just 1,000 arrows. Hurricane and Sun. Okay, here comes that did a lot more because of crit. That wasn't a crit. That did a lot more than I expected. Okay. 1,000 arrows is super effective since we grounded the Zapdos and we do pick up the win there. I guess if we confuse and hit ourselves and they could crit again, I mean, it's just what I had to deal with at the end of the game, even then. But I still think the big turn, I think, was the max there. The max on Incineroar, the fact that they didn't go for fake out with their Incineroar, and that turn I went for the coaching plus the 1,000 arrows and got the huge amount of chip. I think those were the biggest turns of the game, because that 1,000 arrows did beautiful damage really in general against their team. Made it really hard for them because their team was already kind of getting weakened and they just weren't put in a position, I think, to really be able to capitalize much other than that one turn with the Zapdos plus Calyrex. And even then, because of the Dynamax Incineroar, I was able to cover that, I think, other than, again, crits, which, you know, at that point, you kind of just have to hope that it's not going to happen, especially in a late game where all your Pokemon are generally weakened. So I was able to get the knockdown to Calyrex, prevent a whiff situation, and then Zygarde was almost guaranteed to win the game. There were only like Hurricane crit confusions, which would have been pretty annoying to deal with, but thankfully that didn't happen. Kingler, NDD, Calyrex, Shadow Rider, Xerneas, Incineroar, Kartana. Okay, this is Ryota's team, if I'm not mistaken, or one of his other Kingler teams. I think he had two of them. I used a different one, I believe, and this one has Xerneas. Okay, options against Kingler. It's a frail Kingler, although the Inity, I don't exactly have a way to block the Inity or like get rid of it immediately, so that's a little bit of an issue. Xerneas is kind of a weird one, because my best answers to Xerneas is ironically like Zamazenta and not Zacian. Which is a lot worse against a Xerneas team right here. Okay. I could see myself doing a few things. I think Zygarde's probably okay here. Zygarde's definitely an okay lead. I think Zygarde plus... I don't want to lead Zamazenta though. But they could just lead Xerneas right off the bat. They lead Xerneas off the bat, I'm in a lot of trouble. And I mean a lot of trouble. So I think I might have to lead it. Okay, let's try Zamazenta plus Zygarde out. And I think in the back, I think I need Incineroar for sure. My last Pokemon is it Ludicolo. Ludicolo could be useful, yet I think Fairforn is better. Although, you know what, I'm gonna go with Ludicolo. The reason I'm gonna go with Ludicolo is I'm still very scared of, because one, I don't know what my max option is. I don't know if I'm actually maxing Zygarde in this game. Having a second max option that isn't the Zygarde might be more useful. I don't want to max Fairforn. And another thing is that I also want to threaten the Incineroar, because I think Incineroar is always going to be broad here. So let's find out. Calyrex, Shadow Rider, and Indy. Okay, this could also be another lead that they decide to go for. Yep, it is a pretty scary one. Zygarde, Zamazenta does lead. All right. Is this a max from the Calyrex turn one? Because that could be an option. I'd rather just go for a wide guard here turn one, and if I get the play wrong, I just lose. But I think that's basically, I don't think there's like a safe mid ground here. Like Incineroar, I guess, could come in. However, I just don't know who they would target anyway. It might be the Zamazenta slot. However, yeah, I think I'm just going to wide guard here and maybe just throw off 1,000 arrows at this point. So let's go for a wide guard, throw off 1,000 arrows, get some chip on both of these Pokemon because it is pretty valuable. Maybe the play is switching out Zamazenta into Incineroar. I could definitely see the play being switching out into the Zamazenta into the Incineroar as the right call here. However, I don't know what the item on the Calyrex is on this team. I think it could be Sash. We're actually going to see the swap here from the... Okay, it's hard Xerneas. Ooh, all right. That works. That does work. And they protect NDD. Okay, so I got some free damage into Xerneas. That's not too bad. That's not too bad. I am able to go for the wide guard right here, and I am able to get a free 1,000 arrows off into their team. Maybe I should max quake with the Zygarde then at this rate, because I think I'll need pressure by max quaking. I think Snarl into max quake might not be a terrible option here. Or I could coaching 1,000 arrows too. I think Snarl is always the right play though. I don't think they're gonna go for a... I think they're Geomancy here because like I just don't see why they wouldn't go for the Geomancy here. So I think I'm just gonna get some more chip while I can to discourage the Dynamax from the Xerneas. And they Dynamaxed immediately. And I mean immediately. Okay, good thing I went for Snarl then. Okay, this gets rid of the terrain. This is gonna make the game... I wonder what their game plan is, because I don't think Zygarde's like really that important of a Pokemon for me to save in the late game. Is this helping hand into the Zamazenta? No, it's just follow me, because yeah, they don't want to get Behemoth Bash. I don't think they would. So hit the Xerneas, hit the Xerneas. Okay, we do get the Snarl off. Perfect. Huge. Hitting that's really nice. Snarl, I think I should live a hit with Zygarde at least once. Starfall gonna come out into my... Yeah, Zygarde. Okay. Did I get crits? No, I don't think that was a crit. That's just Xerneas. I guess that is kind of Xerneas, you know? Okay. Not great. Not great. I think my counterplay is Dynamax Ludicolo. Yeah, I think Dynamax Ludicolo might be my play here. Gonna go for a Snarl once again. I'm gonna go for a Scald, or yeah, I'm gonna go for the Max Geyser into the Entity. This could be helping hand plus Starfall, which I'm okay with. I do want the rain up so that my Ludicolo is faster than the Entity, because I imagine that I'm not gonna KO the Entity with the double up here of Snarl Max Geyser, but next turn I can threaten the I could threaten a Behemoth Bash into the Xerneas potentially. I wonder if they protect this turn, because they could also be scared of potential I go for Fake Out into Behemoth Bash here. They did go for the helping hand. All right. Oh, I could have went for Behemoth Bash immediately. All right. Snarl here for safety. I don't think I'm knocking out the Entity. I don't think Xerneas can knock out... Well, Xerneas definitely I don't think can knock out either one of my Pokemon. It's just going to come down to later. Starfall going to come out once again. Is this Ludi or... Nice, okay. Ludi, good special defense, is able to take that, yeah, really nicely. Next, guys, is going to be fired off into the Entity. So, Entity, yeah, is able to survive. I'm not too surprised here. The Xerneas is in a weird spot because it is threatened by Behemoth Bash, and I wonder if Behemoth Bash even KOs at this point, but you know what, we're going to find out, I suppose. We're going to go for the Max Geyser into the Entity, and Behemoth Bash just could be double protect. I'd imagine just a sack Entity though, and just max guard Xerneas, if anything. But we'll find out. No, it's not. Okay, that's actually really good for me, because I'm able to get a Max Geyser KO into the Entity slot. And Behemoth Bash, please knock out this. Please knock out. I would really love you to knock out the Xerneas right here. Please. Please knock out. Behemoth Bash is going to come out. It's ×2 against Xerneas, and it is a steel type move from a stab Pokemon. And the Xerneas is taking a lot of chip. Please knock out. Okay. We have a shot. Calyrex remaining. Is it Scarf Calyrex? I know Ryota ran Scarf Calyrex before. The Scarf Calyrex screws me over for the Ludicolo. Does it? It can, yeah. Well, it depends on who the last Pokemon is from the side. Incineroar. I like this position. I really like this position. Okay. My opponent already used up their Dynamax. Oh, Ludicolo might win. Okay, nice. So now I can go for a Wide Guard here. Unless the Calyrex has Psyshock or any other move, I think we're fine. Because Wide Guard before the Fake Out. And then we Geyser the Incineroar, just because Incineroar is going to be the pain to deal with in the late game. So Wide Guard here, go for the Geyser into the Incineroar. Then we have our own Incineroar to deal with the Calyrex, hopefully. The only way is if this Calyrex actually has some kind of like really shocking set, like a Nasty Plot Mudshot. Wide Guard will come out. Let's find out. Fake out into Zamazenta. Perfect. Wide guard going before because it's the same priority and Zamazenta is just naturally faster. It is the scarf on the Calyx. Oh! Ooh, that's not what you want to see here. Max Geyser into the Incineroar slot is going to be able to pick up the knockout into Incineroar. And Ludicolo coming in clutch. Ludicolo plus Zamazenta, the MVPs of this game. Nice. I'm glad I brought the Dynamax Ludicolo now. I really am. Now we can just fire up wide guard. Wait, hold on. Okay, I forgot the Ludicolo's not fast in Calyx, so it's actually not confirmed to be Scarf. I guess we're just gonna go for a... No, we don't want to miss attacks, right? We just want to go for a Protect here and a Behemoth Bash into the Calyx slot. They're probably just gonna forfeit. Oh, they don't. Okay. Their specs and crit me? I could have just thrown the game. But I think Zamazenta would live one specs attack. They just keep Astral Barraging, so I don't know if they're actually choice locked. I feel like if they were choice locked, though, they would have just forfeited. Yeah, that's not... Well, that's not specs damage for sure. That's not Scarf, I think, either. Okay. Behemoth Bash into the slot here. Should pick up... Wow. That did not do that much damage, but I think this Zamazenta is just really bulky and Spadef. Let's go for a wide guard here into a Scald. A Scald, yeah. I mean, I think Incineroar still does win in the back, I think. I'm like pretty sure. But yeah, battle's gonna be forfeit here. And ooh. Can't believe that. I mean, I didn't think they would Dynamax immediately because I thought, oh, they would go for the Geomancy right there. But maybe they were like, okay, what happens? Max Quakes, maybe they were scared of. Maybe they were just worried that Xerneas wasn't going to be able to do much, especially if I did go for like a small Max Quake play, because then their damage output against my team is pretty low because I do have the special defense boost on top of like me dropping these Xerneas special attacks, so it's actually not doing as much there. And that was their main damage output, so they were like, hey, let me get rid of this Zygarde if I possibly can with the Max the Max what Starfall right there. And yeah, that is something. Yeah, I mean, we were able to pick up the win. Thankfully, it was Trick Room Calyx with Sash. Okay, so it was the same Calyx that they had it on the last team. I don't think I used the Xerneas version of this team. Yeah, they did a Power of Geomancy, but they just chose not to use it. Yeah, they decided to max the Xerneas instead because they tried to open up, I think, the way, because they couldn't really touch my... They just couldn't touch my Zamazenta unless they Dynamax the Calyx, but if I played defensive, they could have opened up the doors for either Incineroar to take the early knockouts or potentially my Zygarde just getting special defense boost and it being too hard for them to handle in the long run. So yeah, thankfully Ludicolo was able to be the right bond, going for Max Geyser's outspeeding and then allowing me to get the Behemoth Bash, which was really important in the late game. Looks like we got the standard Sun team: Charizard, Groudon, Zacian, Incineroar, Grimmsnarl, and Gastrodon right here. Okay, matchup wise, Zygarde's actually kind of good against this team, although play rough Zacian as well as the Charizard can be a little bit annoying. There's also the Gastrodon with Ice Beam, which can be a little bit difficult to handle. And Charizard's actually pretty scary for this team as well. I think my best lead here is actually going to be the Zamazenta plus Thundurus, because Thundurus can actually is my only Pokemon that really pressures the Charizard. And if I can pressure the Charizard, then that would be really nice. Though I think my opponent gets a lot of potential pivot plays. Like if I lead Thundurus into Charizard, there's always that turn one question of does the Charizard switch out into Groudon, for instance, or Gastrodon to waste a turn of my max, force my max on Thundurus, because I do have to try to get rid of that Charizard as quick as possible. So we lead Zamazenta plus Thundurus. It is my safest lead here. Incineroar and Zygarde in the back, I want to say. Incineroar is just really good because Intimidate is just so good against my opponent's team in general. And then I bring Zygarde because it pretty much can beat down a lot of my opponent's options that isn't a Gastrodon. I would really like to bring Ludicolo here, because Ludicolo could actually put in work here against the Gastrodon, but that's all it can really do. And I think just having Zygarde as a more offensive option and a way to set up, I think, in the end game is better, or mid game even. Let's find out what my opponent decides to lead here, because I imagine it's a Charizard lead. Maybe Charizard Grimmsnarl, for instance. We'll find out. Gonna be Groudon Incineroar. Okay, not what I expected, actually. Really not what I expected. Okay. I lead the Thunderous plus Zamazenta right here. I get to catch the Intimidate from the Incineroar slot, and yeah, this is not a bad situation, I suppose. I wonder if Groudon's going to be the Dynamax Pokemon here then. Because if Groudon's the Dynamax Pokemon, this is such a weird position for me because it seems good because I did get the Define Boost on the Thunderous, which is not what I expected here. However, I think I have a few options here. I could go out into Incineroar for the Zamazenta and Dynamax the Thunderous. I could go hard into Zygarde expecting a Rock Fall. There could be a Max Quake option. It's just a little bit strange right here. I think I'm going to go for a Coaching right here. And I think I'm just going to go for an Airstream right off the bat. No, because I didn't get intimidated off into Groudon, I suppose. You know what? No, let's just go into Incineroar right here. Let's go for an Airstream into the Incineroar on their side of the field. And I think this is safe because I can go for another Airstream into a Parting Shot into their Groudon and outspeed theirs, which seems pretty solid. After an Airstream boost, I do outspeed their team. I just don't know because unless they don't max a Groudon, I think they're in a pretty weird position where Thunders can overrun their team. But they would love their Dynamax, I think, on Charizard if it's in the back. So this is kind of a weird position, I think. But overall, +1 Thunders is ready to go. Fire off some Airstreams right here. And yeah, it's kind of unfortunate because I don't think the Assault Vest is just going to help out at all in this case. However, let's find out. Does the Groudon max here or not? It is going to be, yep, max Groudon. Perfect. I don't know if this is going to be Fake Out from the Incineroar. I can see Fake Out. Wide Guard is the only thing I think I could have done with the Zamazenta that turn if that's the case. But like, does that get me anything? No, it doesn't, right? Because if the Groudon's Dynamaxing like I expected, it's not going to help. So Incineroar just getting that Intimidate off. I'm worried about a double up in the Thunderous. That could be a thing. And then I would prefer Coaching. But I think they want to prevent like the defense boost. So I play around that by getting the Intimidate with Incineroar instead. I get an Airstream up into their Incineroar slot, which does a decent amount. It's not, that's a pretty bulky Incineroar on the physical spectrum. So I am able to get a decent Airstream off into their Incineroar. We're going to see a Rock Ball come out into the Thunderous. With the Intimidate, we are going to be able to survive this. We take it extremely well, actually. Wow. We took that way better than I initially expected. That is not what I thought was going to happen, but that is beautiful. That is beautiful. Okay. Do I need an Airstream boost? Oh, wait. I realized that there was a flaw in my plan because I forgot this is Min Speed Incineroar. Right. I could swap the Incineroar, though. I don't have to get a Parting Shot off because the Rockfall did way less than I anticipated initially. So I could go into Zamazenta here, or I could go out into Zygarde. And I think both are like really solid plays in general right here. I think swapping into the Zygarde seems really good to me. I really do like the Zygarde play, and I think is the question, do I want to Airstream or Knuckle? I think I want to Airstream the Incineroar slot. I want the speed buff on my Zygarde right here, and I want to preserve Intimidate because it's still very useful. Fake Out is really good against the Gastrodon for Zygarde setups later. And yeah, just getting rid of that Intimidate Mon is really clutch. Nice, so we are able to eliminate the Incineroar. They didn't want to take an attack with any other Mon, which I do understand. Perfect. And then let's find out what they're doing with the Groudon. Is it Rockfall? They could be quaking the Incineroar slot, which I would understand, but they do go for the Rockfall because they do want to try to get rid of this Thunderous because it is at +1, but it is not going to be able to pick up a knockout. No crit, thankfully. And now the Thunderous and Zygarde are in a pretty good spot right here because I can go for Protect Airstream the next turn, sack Thunderous, get an Incineroar, Fake Out, Sub, and or Coil. Like, I have a lot of good options, I think, with this position. They bring out Gastrodon. If they bring out the Zacian, this is fine here. I just go for a I could go for Airstream Sub here, although I think just Airstream Protect is just pretty safe for the most part. So I'm going to protect the Zygarde here. I always Airstream the Thunder slot because, or the Zacian slot, because I'm always guaranteed to get the Airstream boost. And if I do get the Airstream boost, I am able to get the guaranteed speed boost on Zygarde to outspeed the Zacian the following turns, and then I can go for like sub coils, whatever I really want. We're gonna see the swap actually from the Zacian immediately. Charizard going to come out here. That's perfectly fine for me. Yeah, this is great. So I'm able to get an Airstream up. I did protect my Zygarde, however the Airstream boosts are just going to be good enough, I think, for the most part. Do I KO the Charizard here? I guess I do, right? I'm +1. Yeah, I do. Okay, so they're down to the last two Pokemon. which is kind of weird for them in a way. I think they were scared of Airstream 1000 Arrows, which I don't think knocks out Zacian at all, unless it's like a super fail Zacian, I suppose. A Rockfall is going to come out. They're going to eliminate the Thundurus, but maybe it's a little bit too late, I think, because yeah, the Thundurus does go down. However, at this point, Incineroar can come in. I can throw off a Fake Out into the Zacian slot, and I can go for a Coil safely. I don't even have to sub. I could just Coil. And yeah, I just like that a lot. So we do go out into Incineroar right here and get a Fake Out, get a Coil off. Hopefully no crits happen, specifically into my Zygarde. If they crit my Incineroar, I don't think it's like that big of a deal. We have a -2 Groudon now, a neutral Zacian, and Coils just seem really good right now. And I mean really good. Okay. Preferably we would like no crits at all happening in general. However, I don't think I would mind if they get 1 crit. I think. I might regret those words. I might regret those words. Coil up and Fake Out, because we want the attack boost so we can threaten the Zacian better. We are at +2 speed with our thing. If they protect Zacian, that's fine. The only thing I'm missing is a little bit of chip damage. They go for Precipice Blades. They're -2. They aren't doing that much damage. Coil is set up with the Zygarde, so now we have a +1. I don't know how many Coils we need to knock out Zacian, though. It might be a little bit more. Precipice Blades is going to come out from the Groudon into the Incineroar slot. That's a good amount for a -2 Precipice Blades. Okay. That it was a good amount. I think I just protect Zygarde here and I just sack my Incineroar. I could also swap here to my Zamazenta right here, which I guess isn't a terrible play. I guess it's not a terrible play going hard Zamazenta, because they're definitely just going to focus down the Zygarde at this point, but they are going to forfeit. I think they realize that they can't really beat my Zygarde. Like the next play I probably would have made is going to the Zamazenta for Incineroar. They would have probably went for a Flareout / Sacred Sword into the Zygarde slot, plus a Precipice Blades with Groudon. Assuming no crits happen, I think I do just win, because then I could go for sub coaching the next turn and or protect coaching, and then yeah, like I think I just get like opportunities where I set up like either sub or set up a Coil, get Incineroar back in, Fake Out, and then the Groudon's not doing anything, and then 1000 Arrows is just sweeping from there. So yeah, they would have had to get extremely lucky, and they have to hit the Precipice Blades as well, which is even more of a downside for them because it gives them worse odds. But yeah, Zygarde was able to set up, and it's just really good against that kind of team. Thankfully, the Thundurus was just able to put in a lot of work in the beginning. The Intimidate just allowed Thundurus to survive like 2 Rock Falls, which is kind of insane, from that Groudon. And then we were able to get in our Zygarde at a perfect timing with the Airstream boost. And then it was able to win the end game because my opponent had a Dynamax that just wasn't doing much to my team. And that is the show. Ludicolo. It came in the clutch in a match where I didn't think it would, when there was no rain team. Yeah, I'm surprised that Luke was able to put in work against that. I wish I could have seen how it would have done against other rain teams, because I don't know, Hydro Pump with Max Geyser could maybe like threaten the Zacian if they don't have Tailwind, and it would be pretty nice to threaten the Kairos as well with the Overgrows. But yeah, I just don't know. We didn't get to face a rain team, unfortunately. Zamazenta and Zygarde were actually pretty good. I liked how this team really synergized. One thing I would have really liked on the Thundurus from the games I played is I would really like Brick Break on the Selfless Thundurus, because Brick Break on the Thundurus would have helped against a lot of screen stuff, and I feel like screens could be a little bit difficult for this team to handle. But of course, Superpower might be helpful for getting rid of Incineroar faster, which of course could always be the case. Go check out Hirofumi and the details of the team down below in the description. And yeah, check out the rest of my videos where I use a lot of cool teams, a lot of fun Pokemon. But that's going to be it for me. Have a great day, people. And until we bow again, I'll catch y'all later.